Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Josh Martin Marcelino. Here are my group mates, Alan Alinas, Jerome Pablo, and Denson Oracion. And here is our presentation on the defense and national security between the Philippines and Singapore. So here we have our table of contents in which we will first explain our selected domain, the definition of it, and how it applies to both countries. Secondly, we will move on to confidential data analysis, in which we'll explain what types of data are considered confidential towards these two military structures. Then we'll move on to the threat identification, in which we will explain how these threats are detected by both countries. And then we will move on to the protection strategies, which will dive into how each country protects itself and responds towards threats, and as well how each country bolsters its cybersecurity defense. Then finally, we will have our CIA triad discussion, in which we will explain how the CIA triad works and how it applies to the defense and national security of both countries, and as well as pick one of the domains to further delve into. And finally, we will have the references at the end of this presentation. So moving on, we have our defense and national security, which is our selected domain. So, the defense and national security plays a vital role in keeping countries and allies safe. It is just another term for the military might and capabilities of these two countries, or rather, all the countries. They form the backbone and resource capabilities and structures of each countries, according to Berseman. We will focus on the defense and security relations between the Singapore and the Philippines. So we have the confidential and data analysis by Alan.
All right. So for the confidential data analysis for the Philippines, highlights for the Philippines it highlights three main areas needing strong protection due to cyber attack risks. First off, according to CyPerma, by securely sharing information with allies like Quad and AUKUS, the Philippines can better defend itself against cyber threats through coordinated efforts. Second, sensitive military and defense data require extra security to prevent unauthorized access by foreign governments. Finally, economic and business data such as trade and corporate information are also at risk of exploitation by other nations for strategic gains. Protecting these areas is essential for the Philippines to maintain its national security, safeguard its economy, and strengthen its international alliance. Moving on to Singapore, Singapore's national security focuses on protecting critical information to ensure safety. Given Singapore's small size, according to Matthews et al., the countries rely on advanced technology and strong defenses to compensate. A con- ah, Key confidential data includes military strategies and personal information and deployment information, all kept to prevent enemies from gaining insights or targeting individuals. Additionally, according to Lee and Lim, safeguarding diplomatic communication helps maintain trust with other nations. Together, these measures strengthens Singapore's security and preparedness against potential threats, passing it on to Jerome covering threat identification.
Okay, so we will focus on threat identification. Now these are of three steps. So we will be focusing on step 1. We will focus on protecting sensitive assets from hostile threats, both physically, electronically, with the inclusion of AI. So first of all, we need to know what are the things that we need to protect. Are they sensitive? Are they of high importance? And then we also need to get what type of threats we are protecting them from, physically, electronically. That also includes machine learning, which is AI. Now we will go to the second step, which is accomplishing detection by means of sensors, radio jamming techniques, and electronic countermeasures. Now we will skip to step 3, which is making the TDS, threat detection systems, reliable in determining threats and decide if the threat is real. This is all according to Wilson 2019. So, step 2 and step 3, we need to ensure that the threat detection systems are reliable enough to determine which threat must be addressed, which of them are just junk code, junk email, things like that. And we need to decide in what way we will be able to address them, threat detection systems, as per what we as per the topic says. So we will be moving once again to Denson.
Hello, I'm Denson, and we will now discuss the protection strategies implemented by the Philippines. First and foremost, establishing a cyber command. In an article written by Strangio in 2023, the Armed Forces of the Philippines is in the process of creating a dedicated cyber command to bolster its defenses against cyber threats. This command will be equipped with resources and personnel to effectively address cyber attacks. 2. Investing in cybersecurity technologies. The AFP is investing in advanced cybersecurity technologies to protect its critical infrastructure and sensitive information. This includes network security solutions, intrusion detection systems, and encryption technologies. Third, enhancing personal training. The AFP is prioritizing cybersecurity training for its personnel to improve their awareness and skills in identifying and responding to cyber threats. This includes training on best practices, incident response procedures, and threat intelligence. Fourth, collaborating with international partners. The AFP is actively collaborating with international partners to share information, best practices, and resources in the field of cybersecurity. This collaboration helps to strengthen the country's overall cyber defense capabilities. In an article written by Tonelada in 2024, it was revealed that the Philippines has opened up collaboration with the US and Singapore. Now let's move on. Fifth, implementing the National Cybersecurity Plan or NCSP. The AFP is aligning its cybersecurity efforts with the NCSP, which outlines the country's overall strategy for addressing cyber threats. This ensures a coordinated approach to cybersecurity across government agencies and the private sector. Sixth, focusing on human security. The NCSP emphasizes the importance of human security in the context of cybersecurity. This includes protecting individuals from cyber crimes such as identity theft, online fraud, and cyberbullying. And lastly, promoting public awareness. The AFP is working to raise public awareness about cybersecurity threats and the best practices for online safety. This includes educational campaigns and public outreach programs. By implementing these strategies, the Philippine military aims to strengthen its cybersecurity posture and to protect the country's critical infrastructure from cyber attacks. Now we're done with the Philippines. Let's talk about the strategies deployed in Singapore.
So now we will talk about the protection strategies implemented by Singapore. And just like the AFP creating its own cyber command, the Singapore Armed Forces also have their own cyber defense group. Established in 2017, the CDG is responsible for 24/7 cyber defense of the SAF's networks. It monitors networks, responds to incidents, and conducts security audits regularly, according to Yale. Next, it has its multi-layered defense. Networks with different security classifications are physically separated. Technical solutions are implemented to detect intrusions and protect networks. Thirdly, we have incident response. Computer emergency response teams isolate threats, restore systems, and execute business continuity plans on the daily. Moving on to our next slide, we have CyberSOC. CyberSOC, or Cybersecurity Operations Center 2.0, by the DSTA 2024, is the latest development by the SAF and the CDG. It leverages AI and machine learning to enhance threat detection and response capabilities. It also automates incident response processes to make it easier for these teams to respond to threats and be able to find out where these threats are coming from. Fifth, we have the DIS, or the Digital Intelligence Service. Before, the CDG was known as the Defense Cyber Organization back in 2017, but recently in 2022, it established itself as the fourth armed service of the Singapore Armed Forces, now rebranded as the Digital Intelligence Service. As the CDG is rebranded into the DIS, It still focuses on digital defense and intelligence. It develops digital defense capabilities and trains personnel in data science and AI. And just like the Philippines, Singapore also collaborates with other government agencies, international partners, and the private sector to share information and the best latest practices. By combining these strategies, the SAF aims to maintain a strong cyber defense posture and protects its critical infrastructure and operations within its country.
So now, thank you, Josh, for that. We will be going to the CIA triad, which is the final slide of this presentation. Now, this functions as the basis and the foundation of security. Let me explain to the Let me explain this briefly. Confidentiality is essentially protecting the data that is sensitive, the data that is of high importance. Integrity is ensuring that the data or asset remains unchanged, and availability is the times that we can access the system. Okay? Confidentiality in defense and military application protects sensitive data such as military inventory and capabilities crucial for national security. Now, these countries put confidentiality as their main focus to ensure that their data is protected. The reason why the CIA triad is so important, especially with confidentiality with these countries, is that if there's a compromise in their security, that means that their sensitive assets, all of their capabilities, all of their inventories are known, potentially giving a dangerous advantage to their adversaries. That is why the CIA triad is once again the foundation of security and must be placed with high importance. I will give back the stage to Josh for the remarks.
So, with all of that said, here are references that we used to research for this presentation. We thank you for listening and watching our video, and we bid you a good goodbye. Thank you for watching.